All right, listen up because we are about to dive into one of the most important books ever written, and I do not say that lightly. We are talking about Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, I just wanted to know how to get rich or how to get six-pack abs. Why are we getting all heavy and philosophical? Well, here's the truth. You can have the money and the abs and still be absolutely miserable if you do not have what Frankl talks about in this book. This is not some fluff piece written by a guy living in a mansion in the hills telling you to just vibe high. Viktor Frankl wrote this after surviving 4 Nazi concentration camps, including Auschwitz. He lost his wife, his parents, and his brother. The man looked into the abyss, and the abyss blinked first. So if he says he knows a thing or two about how to handle life when it hits the fan, we should probably shut up and listen. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this, let me ask you a favor. If you enjoy pretending to be smart by listening to book summaries instead of reading the actual book, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel so you can absorb more wisdom through osmosis, and drop a comment below. Tell me what gives your life meaning, or just tell me what you had for lunch. I honestly just want to see the algorithm happy. Okay, let's get into it. The book is divided into 2 parts. The first part is Frankl's experience in the camps, and the second part is his psychological theory called logotherapy. But do not worry, I am not going to bore you with academic jargon that sounds like someone choking on a pretzel. We are going to break this down so simply that even your golden retriever could understand it. The first massive lesson from this book is the concept of the last human freedom. Imagine the worst situation possible. You are stripped of your clothes, your identity, your possessions, and even your hair. You are starving, freezing, and terrified. That was Frankl's reality, but he realized something profound while he was marching through the snow in broken shoes. He realized that the Nazis could take everything from him except one thing. They could not take away his freedom to choose how he responded to the suffering. Let's put this in modern terms. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. I mean, bumper to bumper, nobody's moving, and you're going to be late for something important. Maybe it's a job interview or a date, or just the season finale of your favorite show. You have 2 choices. Choice A is to scream at the windshield, punch the steering wheel, and spike your blood pressure until you look like a tomato. Choice B is to accept that you're stuck, turn on a podcast, maybe do some car karaoke, or just enjoy the fact that for the next hour, nobody can ask you to do anything. The situation is exactly the same. The traffic is still there, but your experience of the traffic is completely different based on your attitude. Frankl argues that between a stimulus, like traffic or a mean boss or a breakup, and your response, there is a space. And in that space lies your power to choose. Most of us just react on autopilot. Someone cuts us off, we get mad. Wi-Fi goes down, we panic. Frankl is saying, stop being a robot. You are the pilot. You can't control the weather, but you can control how you fly the plane. The second big lesson is about the importance of having a why. There's a famous quote by Nietzsche that Frankl uses a lot, which says, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how." In the camps, Frankl noticed a pattern. The prisoners who survived weren't necessarily the strongest guys or the ones who looked like they did CrossFit. The ones who survived were the ones who had a specific purpose waiting for them on the outside. For Frankl, it was rewriting a manuscript on psychology that the Nazis had destroyed and seeing his wife again. Think of it like going to the gym. If you just go to the gym and lift heavy metal objects for no reason, it's just painful and stupid. Your muscles burn, you're sweating, and you look ridiculous. But if you have a why, if you want to look good for your wedding, or you want to be able to carry all the groceries in one trip, suddenly the pain has a purpose. The suffering becomes bearable because it means something. If you're miserable right now at your job or in school, it might be because you've lost your why. You're just doing the how. You're just grinding. And grinding without a purpose isn't hustle. It's just friction. You need to find that thing that makes the suffering worth it. Now, this leads us directly to the third lesson, which is a total mind flip. Frankl says we need to stop asking what the meaning of life is. Seriously, stop asking that. It's like asking, what is the best food in the world? It depends. Are you hungry for pizza or sushi? Instead of asking what the meaning of life is, imagine that life is asking you that question. Life is the interviewer, and you are the one in the hot seat. Life is asking, okay, you're here on this spinning rock, what are you going to do about it? It's like dating. You don't sit across from your date and demand that they entertain you and give your life purpose. Well, you can, but you won't get a second date. You have to bring something to the table. You answer life by taking responsibility. You answer by taking action. Meaning is not something you find hidden under a rock like an Easter egg. Meaning is something you create through your actions. You don't discover meaning, you build it. So how do you build it? Frankl gives us 3 main ways to find meaning. The first is by creating a work or doing a deed. This is the obvious one. It's your career, your hobbies, or that novel you've been threatening to write for 5 years. When you create something, you leave a footprint. It's validation that you exist. This is why people love gardening or fixing up old cars or coding. You take chaos and turn it into order. You look at what you made and say, I did that. That's a huge source of meaning. The second way is by experiencing something or encountering someone. This is basically love. And I don't just mean romantic love where you stare into each other's eyes and ignore the rest of the world. I mean experiencing the beauty of nature or art or culture. Have you ever stood on top of a mountain or seen a sunset so good you forgot to take a picture of it? That's meaning. Or when you really connect with another human being and you see their potential, even things they don't see in themselves. Frankl says love is the only way to grasp another human being in the innermost core of his personality. So yes, watching Netflix alone is great, but true meaning often comes from connection with others or with the world. The third way is the hardest one, and it's specifically for when things go wrong. It's the attitude we take towards unavoidable suffering. This is the tragic optimism part. Frankl tells a story of an elderly doctor who came to him for therapy because he was severely depressed after his wife died. He loved her dearly and couldn't get over the loss. He didn't give him a pill. He asked him a question. He said, "Doctor, what would have happened if you had died first and your wife had survived you?" The doctor said, "Oh, that would have been terrible. She would have suffered so much." And Frankl said, "Well, then you have spared her this suffering, and the price you have to pay is to survive and mourn her." Suddenly, the doctor's suffering had a meaning. It was a sacrifice he was making out of love for his wife. The pain didn't go away, but the despair did, because the suffering now made sense. Now, I'm not saying you should go look for suffering. Don't go touch a hot stove just to feel something. Frankl was very clear that suffering is only meaningful if it's unavoidable. If you can avoid suffering, like leaving a toxic relationship or quitting a job that treats you like garbage, then you should do that. Enduring pain that you can fix is not heroism, it's masochism. But for the stuff you can't fix, like illness or loss, you have the power to turn that tragedy into a triumph of the human spirit. Now let's talk about another concept Frankl introduces, called the existential vacuum. This sounds like a sci-fi weapon, but it's actually a very modern problem. It's the feeling of total emptiness. Frankl noticed that when people don't have to struggle for survival anymore, they get bored. We have easier lives than our ancestors. We don't have to hunt for food or run from tigers. We have air conditioning and delivery apps. But this comfort brings a new problem. We don't know what to do with ourselves. He calls this the Sunday neurosis. You know that feeling. It's Sunday afternoon, you're not working, you have nothing urgent to do, and suddenly you feel this creeping anxiety. You start thinking about your life and you feel empty. So what do? We try to fill that void with cheap dopamine. We binge eat, we drink too much, we doom scroll on social media for 6 hours, or we chase money and power thinking that will fill the hole. But it's like trying to fill a bucket with no bottom. The only way to fill the vacuum is with meaning, not with pleasure. Pleasure is a side effect of meaning. It's not the goal. If you aim for happiness directly, you'll miss it. It's like trying to catch a butterfly. If you run around swinging a net, you look like an idiot and the butterfly flies away. But if you sit down and do your work quietly, the butterfly might land on your shoulder. That's how happiness works. It comes when you're busy doing something meaningful. Frankl also talks about something cool called paradoxical intention. This is a technique for people who have anxiety or fears. The basic idea is that the more you fear something, the more likely it is to happen because you're so hyper-focused on it. Like if you're afraid of stuttering or blushing, you get so nervous about it that you inevitably stutter or blush. Frankl's solution is to try to do the thing you're afraid of on purpose. If you're afraid of sweating on a date, tell yourself, I'm going to sweat so much I'm going to dehydrate the entire restaurant. I'm going to act like a human sprinkler. It sounds crazy, but by wishing for it, you take the wind out of the sails of your fear. You break the cycle of anxiety. It's like laughing at a horror movie monster. Once you laugh at it, it's not scary anymore. Humor is a huge tool for survival. Even in the concentration camps, Frankl said they tried to make jokes. They made fun of their situation. Humor creates distance between you and your suffering. It gives you a moment to breathe. So next time you're stressed, try to make a joke about it. If your life is a dumpster fire, at least roast some marshmallows.
So, to wrap this all up, what are we taking away from Viktor Frankl? We are learning that you are not a victim of your circumstances. You might be a victim of bad luck or bad people, but you are the master of your own mind. You possess the freedom to choose your attitude in any given set of circumstances. We are learning that you need a why. You need a purpose that pulls you forward. It does not have to be saving the world. It can be raising your kids well, or mastering the guitar, or just being a kind person in a rude world. But you need something. We are learning that happiness is not a goal. It is a byproduct. Stop chasing the high and start chasing the meaning. Do the work, love the people, and face the suffering with your head high. And finally, we are learning that life is asking you a question. Every day when you wake up, life is asking you, who are you, and what are you going to do today? Do not mumble your answer. Speak up. That is the breakdown of Man's Search for Meaning. It is a heavy book, but it is also incredibly hopeful. It tells you that no matter how dark it gets, you have a light inside you that cannot be extinguished unless you let it. If you enjoyed this deep dive and you want more content that makes you smarter while you drive to work or fold your laundry, please destroy that like button. It really helps out. Subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next one, and leave a comment. Tell me, what is your why? What gets you out of bed in the morning? Is it your kids, your job, or just the smell of coffee? Let me know. I read all the comments. Thanks for listening, and remember, find your meaning, and you will find your way. Catch you in the next one.